Why does this little dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into a microphone? Why? Well, just because they can, and they continue with the Town of Light, blind. Now I'm looking for the correct shelf in the archives to quote-unquote send a letter to my mother, who's most likely long dead. I think
There must be a file with my name in the filing cabinet somewhere.
I think I'm under T, because obviously I'm Renée T.
Dear Mother, please, I beg you, get me out of this place. I'm so frightened here. You were right. I know I was wrong. I understand. I'm so ashamed. If only you knew how much. But now I'll behave myself, I promise. Now things will be fine. I'll work hard. I'll be very good. Your daughter, Renée.
But first of all,
This letter. It was Renée's letter, just as she wrote it back then. But it was never sent. Why? Why did this happen?
First of all, that's specifically not...
I received your letter, Mom. You tell me to be patient and strong, while I only feel fear and pain. And you don't write to me anymore. If only these words could be my soul, I'd tell you what was happening to me. The kids want to kill me. They all look the other way and tell me what to do. I don't understand. She helps me, but what have they done to her? Can you tell me? Will you help me? Renée.
Yeah, none of them were sent? Yeah. Although...
Montefoscoli, July 7th, 1940. My dear daughter, I have received no news from you. You have not contacted me in months. I'm sorry, but I don't have the money to come and visit you. Do you remember Mr. Onofrio? He'll soon be in Volterra for business. I've asked him if he would be kind enough to ask the director for some news about you. I hope he'll bring me some good news when he returns. But please write to me. I know that I was strict with you. You have to forgive me. I didn't think. I've given Mr. Onofrio a new doll for you. You told me that you lost yours, and I know you loved it so much. It's not as nice as your Charlotte, but I hope that it will comfort you nonetheless. Keep your chin up, darling. Everything will be fine, you'll see. Mom. Montefoscoli, October 12th, 1940. My dear daughter, I've written 2 letters to you and have received no reply. Every day, I'm anxiously waiting for a letter. Mr. Onofrio's back. He brought you the doll. Do you like it? He told me he was unable to speak to the director, but managed to see you. I pray for you every day. Even Don Gino said a prayer for you during Sunday Mass. Isn't that nice? I've made up my mind, Renée. I'm bringing you home. I've already written to the director. I told him that I'll take care of you. I'm not very well at the moment and can't work, but I'll get better soon, you'll see. And as soon as I can make the journey, I'll come and fetch you. I know you're suffering a lot, but please be strong, I beg you. Mom will come to fetch Renée, won't she? Mom is good, but she's not well. That's why that man came. The doll. Renée could have played with it while she was waiting for her to arrive, but Renée didn't have it with her. Is it one of Mom's lies? She knew that she'd hurt Renée and... No, Mommy's good. That man brought it. We've just remembered who he is, haven't we? It was Renée who was wrong. The doll's here. I know that for sure. Perhaps she's been abducted like all the others and is locked up here somewhere.
Now, a couple of things. First, that response, that letter, was not what I've chosen. You know, there was like a dialogue option with multiple choice, and I've chosen something else. I was steering sort of clear of the lines that would imply like deep guilt or something. I mainly just chose options that had to deal with being scared and wanting out. But it wasn't what was written in here. And that makes me wonder, is it like deliberate? Is it like she was wishing she would have written something else, but in reality she wrote this in the past? And the other thing, obviously there's something fishy going on because they were not delivering my mother's, Renee's mother's. It's a bit unclear. At face value, it doesn't make sense for me to be her, because I should be like, what? It was 40, like 70 or whatever, 60 something, whereas it seems like I'm a 20-year-old woman. But I think I am her in some way, and, you know, I'm just sort of remembering it, and that's why I'm young, or it's not actually so long. Like, maybe the date was wrong in the intro, you know, it's all unreliable narrator kind of thing. But it's clear something fishy has been going on because they have not been delivering Renee's mother's letters to her, and also not delivering her responses, because I put that response, or Renee, it was put here in the archive and never sent. So that's actually kind of horrifying when you think about it, because essentially that amounts to kidnapping a person. Like, you're being held against your will in like a psychiatric institution. Your family, you know, my mother has written that she's too sick and too poor to travel to here and meet me in person, and she was being lied to, you know, withheld information regarding her daughter's health. Like, that's a horrifying scenario. You know, such things are a lot easier nowadays because obviously, first of all, transportation is cheaper, but even disregarding that, there are things like, you know, you can do a video call, or just a regular call is just, you know, everyone has an access to at least a phone, whereas in 30s and 40s, you know, my family could have been kept deliberately in the dark and about what was happening to their daughter, and they wouldn't be really able to do that much about it if they didn't have significant resources. So I'm looking for my doll, is it? Now, it was said she's maybe being held prisoner, which would imply maybe she's in some kind of storage.
Let's look for the second doll. It'll be among the bundles of the patient's belongings.
So you're telling me to look up, are you?
Now we can open the bundle on that table in front of the window.
A pair of shoes.
May the Lord guide your path and keep you from sin. Mom. You see? Mom was good. I was bad. Mom was worried about Renee and Charlotte. I abandoned Charlotte. We've abandoned her.
Well, I know where she is. I knew where she was, to be honest.
Let's look for Charlotte. We have abandoned her.
She was...
Will she still be where we abandoned her? Under the warm lights?
Yeah, pretty much. That's where I remember her being. Wait, but that was upstairs. I do remember taking her upstairs. I needed a wheelchair and all that. So...
I didn't do anything. I just obeyed orders. I only obeyed orders. Charlotte got away. Mom will come and get me. She loves us, even though we're orders. Mom won't leave us alone. I didn't do anything. I only obeyed orders. Mom will come and get us now. I didn't do anything. I only obeyed orders, even though we're bad. Mom won't leave us alone. I didn't do anything. Charlotte gone away. I only obeyed orders. Mom will come and get us now. She loves us, even though we're bad.
I didn't do anything. I only obeyed orders.
Montefoscoli, December 20th, 1941. Dear Director, could you please let me know how my daughter, your patient Renée T., is getting along? I've written to my daughter several times, but have received no reply. I'm very worried particularly as I've been ill for some time and have not been well enough to come and visit her. Please kindly let me know when it will be possible for me to bring my daughter home. Your humble servant, Ada T. Bring this letter to the attention of Dr. C so he can assess the potential discharge of the patient.
But I had that read to me. I inspected that before, so I'm not sure why it got read to me again.
What was that doctor writing, sitting at his desk?
Well, I looked at it, didn't I? Oh, I guess not, because it was this.
September 7th, 1938. The patient frequently indulges in recriminations expressed in an explosive tone of voice. This morning she threw away the milk, saying it was full of urine, spittle, and all kinds of other filth. Crazed, she hears voices that order her to do things. She says she heard children singing and that they were locked up in a school. January 20th, 1939. Introverted, dazed, cannot focus on anything. When questioned and stimulated, she starts crying and weeping. At other times, she laughs. June 1st. Apathetic. Eats very little. She refuses to be touched. Does not respond. Spends her time in the grounds. The cooks report that she sits on a bench in front of the kitchens. October 14th. Return of impulsive behavior. This morning she asked for 2 eggs to make zabayoni, but when she got them, she threw them up in the air. Excited, clamorous, slightly confused. Takes her clothes off. December 8th. Tied to bed for 15 days. High-spirited, tends to make witty comments and use vulgar words. Laughs hysterically and pleasures herself. The nurses report that about 2 weeks ago she remained in the showers on her own and didn't want to leave. They said that when they took her away, she swore at them and then lashed out and bit them. 2 nurses had to be treated for their injuries. They've kept her tied to the bed since then. Transferred to the slightly agitated ward, from the care of Dr. B to the care of Dr. C. I was with Amara in the showers. My memories are terrifying. They're not real, are they?
I have no idea. How would I know? This is... like, they are real to me. Which is, unless I get some other confirmation, is the only reality that that I have access to, which is slightly terrifying to me. Like, one of the things that I find most terrifying is specifically psychotic symptoms, such as hallucinations, where you are earnestly convinced that certain things exist. You see them or hear them. Sometimes you probably maybe even feel like you can touch them almost. And to you, in the moment, they are real, but nobody else perceives them. Like, it's horrifying to me, because trusting your senses is something that we take for granted most of the time, right? When you see something, most of the time you don't question whether that's real because you see it with your own eyes, but it is not always so, you know? So, I don't know. What reality are we referring to?
December 15th. Dr. C. Patient notes. The abnormality of her psychic state has induced her to lead a life which is irregular and tends towards delinquency. Of fickle and flighty character, she regularly discards her household duties and engages in occasional prostitution. Delinquency? Prostitution? Renée? It seems so strange, unreal. It can't be true. And Amara? She loved us and would tell us everything. She wouldn't hide anything from us. Her mental deficiency makes her deaf to the reprimands of her family. She has shown suicidal tendencies. She was brought to the ward yesterday, agitated and hysterical. Treated with cardiazol, 2 injections a week for 5 weeks. They were only trying to confuse us with the therapy, and my God, they succeeded. It was as if they wanted to instill the madness into us.
I don't think... obviously there were probably many cases of genuine abuse, but I would say, I would like to believe that those people back in the day, they did sort of mean well. They just didn't know any better, because science wasn't really advanced yet to understand how, brain biochemistry works and all that. And also, I guess, it's a matter of resources as well. Even nowadays, it's a huge problem in healthcare, where you can have people with the best of intentions, but what can you really do if you have no resources to devote to patient care? And one thing that I wanted to comment on briefly is the unfortunate reality of the fact that, from what I've read, it is actually not unheard of as a side effect of being what's the word? Being sexually abused when you're young, to develop a sort of promiscuous, sort of very sexually outwards behavior, even as a young child. So maybe I could buy that she or I, depending on how you look at it, engaged in prostitution and all that, even while at the asylum. But I would say that's most likely as a result of the protagonist being assaulted, and I guess it maybe wasn't assault in the strict sense, but what I mean is she was sexually molested. She there was this man, and it was mentioned in the journal as well, that there was this drawing of a shadowy figure, and there was mentions of her being given drugs and all that. So I do, with regards to that, I would like to hope that they tried their best. It was mostly the matter of them not knowing any better, and also limited resources. There were so many of you. What could they do to manage the hell that there were when there were so few of them?
The therapies removed the light for a while, but also all her will, desire, and hope.
Again, I would like to believe that those people, sort of in their heart of hearts, they did think they were doing the right thing, and they just didn't know any better. That was, the guy who invented lobotomy, or, well, not invented maybe, but the one who perfected it and sort of made it widely used, and also described the results of it. He got an actual Nobel Prize in 1949. I'm going to link that in the description. He was a Portugal surgeon. I don't remember the name right now, but I think it was 49 or 48, late 40s, early 50s. So I refuse to believe that all of the people on the Nobel Committee, they were evil or whatever back in the day. They literally genuinely thought it's a good idea, I think, regrettably. So the therapy was terrible and painful, but it was the only treatment that existed.
It was torture, but we had no choice. Nobody explained anything. No one tried to help us understand. We were like farm animals.
Yeah, again, I would hope they just didn't know any better. They also had their nightmares within these walls. They didn't know what to do with you.
June 2nd. After a long period of calm and improvement, the patient is very agitated today and vehemently refuses to submit to a gynecological examination. She swears and curses those helping her, flailing her arms and hitting them. According to reports by Dr. B, the patient has been subjected to periodic checkups since she had a spontaneous abortion about 2 years ago in her 3rd month of pregnancy. Conception occurred after she had sexual intercourse with a stranger who sneaked into the hospital grounds. Details are contained in the charges filed at police headquarters in Volterra, a copy of which is attached to these clinical notes. ES therapy. A spontaneous abortion? It's not true. I can't believe it. How could I have invented things if I didn't even know what they were doing to me?
Yeah, I am inclined to believe that could and would have happened, maybe, because first of all, that would be... It was strongly implied, and to be honest, it was depicted like Renée got pregnant via rape from one of her actual caretakers at the ward. I call bullshit on the story of, oh, a random stranger sneaked into a closed psychiatric hospital. So I think they would have had her have an abortion, because first of all, that would sort of hide the evidence that something happened to her, and second, it would remove the need to care for a child afterwards. So I do actually buy that they would have made her have an abortion and then hide it. It really happened. They made you have an abortion, but it was illegal, so they reported it as a random incident.
And the stranger in the grounds, I don't remember. Was that another lie? Or was another memory removed? God, my head.
Well, who knows, to be honest. I'm not sure if we'll never know, but it's very difficult to... Once you can't trust your own mind, it's very difficult to reconstruct the actual events, especially because there's no one to talk to about it, no one who witnessed it. And, I don't entirely trust the official reports, especially with regards to her pregnancy. Who knows?
June 13th. The nurses report that she descended into a state of great mental confusion after receiving her mother's letter. She threw her soup over another inmate because she was very anxious, and then punched a nurse. Impulsive, flails about her. She rails against the doctor in vulgar terms while he is examining her, lashes out and spits. Block all correspondence to give the patient no further reason to become agitated. August 20th, tied to bed. The nurses report that the patient is extremely agitated after the visit of a relative or family friend. 2 days later, she is still shouting all the time that he commands her, that she must obey and harm herself, and that she is not Charlotte. All visits forbidden, constrained to bed, and intensification of ES therapy until we achieve results. Calm down. You must be calm. Don't get agitated. We'll make you calm down. Is that the only thing that matters? Is tranquility worth the price of not living?
Well, no, because I also have a feeling it might somehow link with lobotomy, because, like, that was one of the, like, when they argued that lobotomy is a good idea, one of the reasons they cited was, oh, they became calmer afterwards. Yeah, sure, but that's because you took what made them people. Like, you know, once you sever some of those crucial connections in the brain, those people were made less of a person. They were made more, you know, in some cases, pretty much borderline catatonic. Like, you are calmer when you no longer have like a personality or drives or actual self-conscious thoughts, but I don't know if that's living anymore. Certainly not, but at least that way from outside, everything seemed more acceptable. All of those options are kind of crap. Like, I would like to express my indignation at the very idea. But if the question is tranquility worth the price of not living, then my answer is certainly not.
March 3rd. Alert, correct attitude, replies when questioned. The nurses report that the patient is calm. She washes and looks after herself. She affirms the existence of a certain Amara. She says that Amara is a patient who disappeared when she was moved to this ward. No confirmation. Probably a regressive hallucination. Evaluate transfer. Did I imagine Amara? That's not possible. She was there. I know she was there. I feel it. She must have left some traces of her presence. We can try to find her medical records in the archive where their letters were filed.
Okay, but I'll look for them next time because this episode has been long enough. So that's all for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.